everybody, this is Damien with Rosy Side Farm. We are at my favorite part of the farm, or at least my recent favorite part of the farm, and that is our pumpkin patch. So I don't know why, but I just get drawn to this pumpkin patch. It's my favorite part of the barn, or favorite part of the farm anyway. And we have a massive pumpkin grown in here, and a bunch of other pumpkins that are about the size of a softball or a baseball. Here we got a little one, little guy growing there. One growing there. They're all over the place. There's another big one back there somewhere. But the problem I've been having, is watering this pumpkin patch effectively, because we don't have an irrigation system back here. So it's me moving a sprinkler around. So if you put a sprinkler down, the pumpkin patch has grown so much that the water doesn't get to all the areas. So today, that's a little project we're going to be working on. It should be a very, very short project. Something I've done before at our other property before we moved is I'm going to take a hose that we don't use. It's about, gosh, I don't know, 100-foot hose maybe. And I have a cap on one side, very inexpensive, and just a regular female end on the other side. And I'm going to take my drill and about every foot drill a very small hole going all the way down this hose, weave it underneath of our pumpkin plants so I can kind of water underneath all the foliage. So as soon as I start any kind of project, we have our unwelcome helper, Virgil Salazzo, the Turk, who's going to come and help me and basically just get in the way. He does that with every single project I do. So all I got to do is drill a few holes in this thing. So you may ask, like, what size bit am I using? It's small. That's all I got for you. I use whatever's kind of laying around. This isn't an exact science. I'm not measuring out exactly a foot. Just about every 8 to 12 inches, putting a hole in this old hose. So I'm always on the lookout for old hoses, be it when I go to the dump or on Facebook Marketplace. Because whether they have holes in them or not, it'd be fine. So if this one had like a little slit in it, it wouldn't matter. It's just another place for water to come out. So would a soaker hose be better? Would drip irrigation be better? Maybe. I don't have those things right now. So I'm going to use what I have that we're not using around the farm in order to solve a problem, make things a little easier. So my hope is to get 3 passes through the pumpkin patch. So take it all the way down the garden, loop it around, bring it back, and then loop it to end at the end of this half of the pumpkin patch. Over on the other half, stuff my wife has planted that has the landscaping mesh down. Mine is all wood chips. So if I can get this side taken care of and the other side, I only have to babysit a sprinkler for half of it, or until I find another hose, I can just connect it to this hose and make it one big system. Very importantly, I made sure that the electric fence was off before I started. So I'm trying to be careful here of not stepping on the pumpkins, hurting them, but can kind of get them underneath of the big leaves so the watering can happen kind of underneath, not on top. We have a line of spaghetti squash right next to the pumpkins, and the pumpkins are kind of just taking over, and choking them out. Obviously, would have been a much better idea to do this before planting the pumpkins. So after getting it in, trying real hard not to do any damage to the pumpkin, step on the big stalks. I mean, I'm going to have a little bit of it, but I think I did a decent job of kind of weaving it in. I was only able to get 2 passes, one down, one up, and kind of in between the 3 rows that I have of spaghetti squash, 2 rows of pumpkins, and then there's actually 2 more rows of pumpkins. So I'd love to find another piece of hose to bring it down the middle of those 2 as well, and that could irrigate this whole side. One good thing that I do like is that the end of the hose ended up at the front of the garden, so I can just hook into here when I get a new hose, take it straight down, and that should irrigate these pumpkins right here and some of the pumpkins there as well, to really kind of flood this area out, give them all the water that they need, because pumpkins are pretty heavy feeders. So definitely coming out of the hose, coming out of the hole there. Got to walk all the way down the hose though. So right now it's the end of the hose. The water's not coming out yet, but I just did turn the sprinkler on, so it'll get there eventually. The pressure's got to build up to get all the way through that hose, and be strong enough for it to have enough pressure to come out of those holes at the end. But at the beginning, it's definitely working. So I'll follow the hose down, find out how far it's getting right now. Oh, it's starting to drip down there out of the hose, so it should be coming out at the very end here pretty soon. So about halfway down the hose, we have water coming out of the hole. Down there, there's 1, 2, you probably can't see it on camera, it's coming out at a much higher rate. But as time goes on, the ones that are further away from the front of the hose are starting to pick up some velocity of water coming out. So right now at the end, it's just a slow drip, but I anticipate, here we go. Not sure if that's visible or not. So if we look in here to our hose, here we go. It is working kind of as intended. Now, this is not going to be a large amount of water, and I'm going to have to leave this hose in here for quite some time, but I don't have to babysit it. So I can walk away and it can work as a soaker hose in order to get this entire pumpkin patch, this entire side of the pumpkin patch, all hydrated. So from the pumpkin patch, this is Damien with Rosy Side Farm. Thanks for checking us out. Check us out again soon. Got a lot of good things happening on the farm. See ya.